help professionals like you communicate their value to find great opportunities faster, whether you're working or not. It's Career Happy Hour. Every Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific time, I'm joining you here on LinkedIn, Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube. It appears today, Friday, October 9, my API for LinkedIn timed out. So I had to re-enter and authorize my application to do that. So let me know if you're hearing me here today. Let me know where you're joining from. And I will say, hey, in the chat. Just make sure that everything's working okay. Let me see if we've got activity over here on LinkedIn now. So hopefully that's coming through to you guys loud and clear. Let me make sure I got the volume off. Hey, everybody. Okay. Hey, everyone. Good to see you. Come on in. Join me live if you like to. The description in the whatever platform you're joining by allows you to come in live, and we can have some chats there if you want to. It looks like there's a couple people in the waiting room. That's great. We have Kevin and Tracy. We'll get there in a second. Excellent. Thank you, Ted. I appreciate that. Let me know what questions you have. So we're here to support your success. We're here free every Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific time to support you. If you have a chance, look at the little link down below that says share. Sharing is caring. Please share this broadcast to everyone in your network. So whether you're on YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, or LinkedIn, please, by all means, access that share button and let people know we're here every Friday. Spread the word. Spread the word. So what's on my mind today is cold outreach to people you haven't talked to in a while. And it's something I've been giving a lot of thought to on how to do that when maybe we're not excited to do so. Many of us, if we're out of work or looking around, don't want to bother people. We don't want to put them out. You know, we're approaching our search and trying to be conscious about how we're doing it, and we're making our applications, and we're doing our interviews, and all of a sudden we realize that we haven't really been in touch with the people that maybe matter the most to us in our career in the past. So looking in the rear view, think for a moment, if you would, about all the people that you know that had an influence on your career at some point, or maybe a family member or someone that you worked with recently. I mean, it doesn't have to be way back when. It could be somebody recently that you just need to re-engage a connection with. And I started giving some thought to this, especially given the context of today's world with the pandemic, with people working from home, with a lot of industries flat on their back. It's hard to know how this is going to work out for many companies and industries. A lot of them may not come back. Well, do you know anybody in those industries that's been impacted? Maybe you've been impacted, but maybe you're not the only one. You're not the only one impacted by this pandemic. How would you anticipate reaching out to people that you haven't talked to in a while? I don't know who that might be. I'm sure there's somebody that you can think of that was influential in your career. And I put their initials in the chat. You don't have to share their name. In fact, share your own. A couple things you could do to kind of facilitate the community here. And that is put your LinkedIn profile address in the chat, wherever you're joining from, because some of you might not be on LinkedIn, but let's recognize as career advancement professionals that we are to be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where a lot of that traction, a lot of that interaction happens. Let's be on LinkedIn. So if you have a chance, first of all, put the link to your LinkedIn profile in the chat. Often people come in, they sit calmly in the background and don't make any contributions, and that's fine. I'd really like it to be a community, though, of sharing, supporting, helping each other through the networking piece, because it's hard enough to look for work by yourself, alone. You feel alone sometimes, and hey, it's just you and the resume and the applicant tracking system, whatever that looks like. There's a lot of things that you can do outside of that to connect with a human being and feel really good about that. Okay. Let's see. How do I forward this to the job search work team? Yeah, I mean, I think all you do is share, click share at the bottom. I think you can send it as a message, but if you're on the broadcast, you could probably just copy the link in the URL in the address bar and share it that way for sure. So good. Thank you, Ted. Ted, making contributions to the team. Thank you so much. The community here. Good to have you. Looks like we have a handful of people. Deborah from Vancouver, good to have you. Some folks in New York City, excellent. So the idea here then is, how do I reach out to somebody that's gone cold or that I haven't talked to in a long time, especially when the top of my mind says I need a job or this is about my employment. And the first thing I would recommend is how strong are you at holding those thoughts of need for employment at arm's length? I think everybody recognizes, if they know you and you've kind of put it out there that you're looking for work, they already know that. In fact, what you might want to do is pop that balloon. If there's people out there that know you're looking for work and they can't help you that way because they don't have a job, pop that balloon. Let them off the hook. Just say, hey, you know what? I don't expect you to find me a job. That's on me. Okay. As a friend, I just need your support, advice, opinion, perspective, encouragement. That's what I need from you. But if we come with an ask to someone we haven't talked to in a while, that may not be the same. So what I was thinking of here is maybe an approach that some of you could try out this week. Would you be willing to do that? Would you be willing to try this with just one person over the next week with the sole purpose of being a contributor, to contribute to somebody else's success, somebody else's happiness, somebody else's lifting somebody else just a step or two above despair? Could you do that? Could you reach out to just one person and make a difference that way? I think if you did that, you would be well on the way to finding your next opportunity, because often our contributions are what get us a return. It's this odd law of reciprocity. I don't claim to understand how it works. It's not my world. I didn't create it, but it works. It works. So if you give contribution to other people, they're more likely to reciprocate. So here's the approach I'm thinking. You identify that person and you write down on paper, what do I appreciate about this person? What do I appreciate about this person? So I'm thinking somebody in my mind, and I'm just going to use initials, and you can do the same. So I'll put the initials in the chat of this person I'm thinking of in my mind. And the thing I appreciated about this person is he really had a good handle on how to get the most out of people in such an endearing way. So I could write this down. I could write down all the things I appreciate about this person. Why? Because that's why I want to reach out to them and say, hey, we haven't been in contact. I appreciate this about you. I wanted you to know I appreciate the time we worked together, and you had this great skill of helping other people, getting the best out of other people by helping them, by supporting them, by giving them a chance. And I really appreciate that about you. How do you think that person's going to feel? How do you think that person's going to feel when you come to them and say, hey, you and I haven't talked in a while. I know I'm calling you kind of out of the blue. I should have been a better connection for you. In fact, you might apologize for not being connected or close to that person as you should have been. Just apologize and then say, hey, when we work together or in this context, this is what I really appreciated about you. And with the pandemic and everything going on, it's really heightened my awareness and my interest in keeping contact with people now that we're kind of separated. I've lost connection with people that matter to me, and you're one of those people that matters to me. So I'm reaching out to you now. So that's the first part. Maybe apologize, but say, here's what I appreciate about you. Second step, enjoy. What do you enjoy doing? What did you enjoy doing with this person? What did you enjoy about the interactions? What was exciting and fun when you guys were working together, doing something together? The reason I'm saying this is an opportunity for you to advocate for what you're good at without having to say, I'm looking for work. So think about it from this perspective. This is a chance for you to say, I appreciate this about you. when we worked together, this is what you were good at. And I really enjoyed teaching, learning, problem solving, training others, covering a class when you were sick, right? This is what I appreciated about the times we worked together. And that's something that comes inside, right? So internally to you, what are you good at that you enjoyed exhibiting with this person? So what you're going to do is you're going to help them. And this is the interesting part about it. Just as you're running those reels over again in your head and you're seeing that interaction, guess what? So are they. And they get to relive that happy moment with you. How cool is this? How cool is it that you give somebody appreciation? You're a contributor. You go back and you think about the times you enjoyed working together, especially if it relates to a strength of yours that you want to use again. And then it just, it'll be so interesting to see what happens. If you start then devolving into or progressing into, I should say, an organic conversation about your strengths and what they're up to and that sort of thing, and see where that conversation goes without an expectation of a job, okay? Expectation of job is not an outcome from a relationship. That's a transaction. And many times, we don't want a transaction with another person. We want a relationship. So what does that mean? I subordinate my needs long enough, even though I may be out of work or looking for something else. I subordinate my needs long enough to say, hey, I appreciate this about you. When we work together, this is what I got from it. And this is the skill I was using when I was doing that. And I appreciate that. And I want to do that again. So what are you up to? And you just, continue that conversation. I think it would be a good icebreaker to go right into a networking conversation, to ask questions, see what they're up to. Where are they working now? Is it exciting for them? How did they get there? Where are they going next? And ask a series of questions, and then just really say, hey, I'd really appreciate your support. I need help with my branding statement. I need support or encouragement in this space, right? So now that you can start talking about things that you need support in that they can help you with, because not everybody has a job in their back pocket. It just isn't something they pull out like a magic wand, okay? Good. Always happy to help. That's what I like about this community, Terry. We're exhibiting and exercising what we're talking about during these sessions. And I really want you to reach out to people. And some of you are coming in from the work team. That's great. Some of you are coming through my associations with LHH. Some of you are just connections that I have on LinkedIn. It doesn't really matter where you're coming from. All that matters is that I really want you to look at this as an opportunity to try something new. And that one thing that you try something new is to try this apology, appreciation, enjoyment connection to re-engage a network that might have gone cold, or someone you haven't talked to in a long time. Who is that person? Put that person's initials in the chat. I would like to see who that is for you so that you can do something with this. Maybe you get with somebody else in the group, in the team, and practice it. This is just a way to re-engage your network when it's gone cold. And that's what I really appreciate about this. So yeah, so you can forward this to anybody. Share it out to your networks. I would appreciate if you just click the little share button down below and get it out to your networks, because we're here every Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific time. Now, what I'd like you to do is put their initials in the chat, number one. Number two, let me know what questions you have. Put those in the chat as well, so that I can actually have some questions to answer here. So there you go. Awesome. That's really all I wanted to talk about this week. I was thinking, it's a little exhausted, and we've had some issues around the house that I care not to talk about, but sleep has not been, it's nothing important or critical or out of the ordinary. But it is something that has prevented me from getting some sleep. So if I'm not 100% today, that's why. And then, technology, the other part I've learned this week is technology will fail you when you most need it the most. So piece of advice that you can share with whomever you choose, technology will fail you when you need it the most. Because when I was getting ready to do this stream, the service I use, Restream, Evidently, they have an application programming interface with LinkedIn. LinkedIn changed their end of things, didn't notify anybody, and the API was broken, and I had to reestablish connection, even though I was sitting here having a nice live stream with myself and nobody on LinkedIn. So thank you for your patience in me coming in late. It is what it is. And then on top of that, this week, my camera software decided to update itself, and now there's no way for me to adjust the white balance or the video. So hopefully the video looks okay, because it's like the default settings, and I can't adjust anything. So if anybody out there is technical in nature and understands how to use a Logitech webcam and maybe have some third-party software, hopefully free, because it seems like it should be free, that I can use to control the webcam, that would be awesome. So good. Here's what I'm excited about. I'm seeing all kinds of initials in the chat. Richard has said somebody, AB. I'm gonna write that down. What do you appreciate about them? What did you like about working with them? What was the skill you used that you want to use again, that you could help run the reels again with that person? Excellent. Teresa, SH. When you reach out to SH. Good. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. Thank you for the confirmation. So here's the thing. You have this person's name. You can start writing this out. But here's the other part of this. You really have to make a commitment to yourself that you're going to do this. Between now and next Friday, I want you to tell me how that goes. And it might be the thing that comes out of that is you rekindle a relationship with a person and you have a virtual coffee. You rekindle a relationship with that person and you're able to help them. And here's the thing. If you can apply enough contribution to somebody else, they will help you. So that's the idea. And we build trust in others by subordinating our own needs in interest to theirs. Good. So SH, go after it, Teresa. When are you going to talk to that person? Kevin's got one. MM. When are you going to talk to MM? And what are you going to talk about? Have you got it put together? Excellent. ML. Ms. Williams. Who do you have put together? What are you going to say? Okay. Start writing this stuff down. Start writing it down. What are you going to say that you appreciate about that person? How are you going to engage with them and offer a contribution? What is the outcome you want from that doesn't include your need for employment? Okay. What is the outcome? Maybe it's a virtual happy hour with a group of friends that you miss and haven't seen in a while. Maybe it's a coffee chat that you guys establish and do once a week. So anyway, come up with something that you can do to rekindle that relationship. If it was important to you, right? If it was important to you. Okay. Good. Any questions out there? Yes. Thanks for noticing. It's a black background. Okay. I was going to put up the backlight, but I was having so many issues I didn't have time to set it up. So hopefully it's okay. It's just black. It's a sheet. Well, it's actually more than a sheet. It's a drop cloth. It's one of those background cloth things you can get off eBay. So thanks for that. And then I got one behind it that's green, so I can do green screens. But you know, when I'm broadcasting through the Restream, they don't have the capacity to do chroma keys. So that's just one of the limitations here. Anyhow, well, I do. Oh, I guess there is something I can do here with Logitech. There's a video settings protocol. Let me see. Does this work? Ooh, yeah, that does work. Is that a little bit better? Too bright? Contrast, saturation, white band, auto white. Okay. So I guess the settings are back. There we go. Excellent. So anybody want, there's a link in the description. If you want to come on live here, I will put a link. I will put a link in the chat. It looks like this link expired. Did it expire? Is this a new one? I think it might be a new one. Let me see. No, it's the same one. So I'll come over to LinkedIn and I'll put the join me live button here. Join me live. Anybody wants to come on live and get their question answered about resume, LinkedIn profile, marketing, networking, interviewing, whatever relates to your situation, let's see if we can get it resolved. I think I saw Kevin in here earlier, so I don't know if he wants to come on again or not. But yeah, I mean, go ahead and look. There is a link in the chat and also in the description, regardless of where you're joining from, and you could come on live and we could have that conversation. Okay. Yes. Put your questions in the chat. If you have any questions or want to come on live, let's do this. Live coaching, hands-on support, it's here right now. The link is in the chat. It's in the description. Okay. Or if you have questions, just come on and, hey, give me your questions. So I thought it was interesting. Also this week, had a number of people placed that, it's really gratifying when you have an opportunity to watch somebody blossom. Somebody that goes through a search for the first time in their career, been a long time professional engineer, and you see them come in kind of black and white, things are either this way or that way, and they're really pragmatic in their approach. And to see them kind of embrace the idea of having a brand and painting in color rather than black and white is just, and them getting results and getting an offer and getting hired somewhere. That to me is super gratifying. Super gratifying. Kevin, this is a great question. Staying motivated. Well, here's the thing. Motivation is a funny animal because you have to be motivated about something. And I can't make people be motivated about something. The way that I can only tell you the way I approach it. It's the reason I do career coaching. Is because I recognize that this is a hard process. Why? Not because I have a bunch of theories about it, but because I lived it. 4 times in my career, I had to go out and find something else. And at first it was excruciating, and eventually it became very easy for me. Why? Because I applied some universal truth to what worked and what didn't. And I used myself as a guinea pig that way. And I found that the more applications I did, the less happy I was. The more applications I did, the harder the rejections hit because I thought I was a good fit. And I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And so that it's not that it didn't work for me. It just never provided me, should you say, control or agency on the types of opportunities that I got. The opportunities that I did get interviews for were not the ones I really, really wanted. It ended up being the ones that nobody else wanted, if you know what I mean. So the key to being motivated is to find something that's motivating for you. And I don't know what that is for you. So in the way I found it is I decided, okay, what is it that I would do anything to achieve? What is it that I would love to do more than anything else? And what I found was I really loved coaching people through career transition. I did it pro bono for 10 years before I ever got paid to do it. Why? Because I loved doing it. And I had another profession at the time. So money wasn't something that was top of my mind. I never thought that it was something I could get paid to do. So it was something. So if you do something that you love, then great. That's what we're talking about here. To stay motivated, you have to really keep something in front of you every day to remind you why you're doing what you're doing, because this is this process of job search and networking is hard work, and it has to be something that's worthy of your application of effort. And what is that for you? I don't know. Maybe that's something to discover. Maybe you uncover some things during this process that you weren't aware of before about yourself. I would really, you know what I'd really love to do? Do you know what I'd really love to do? See, you notice the words I'm using? Is that thing. What is that thing for you? What would you really love to be doing and getting paid to do it? Think about it from that perspective. I'm going to grab a little drink. Hey, look, somebody came in. Looks like Teresa's here. Hey, if you guys want to come in, you can do that. Just click the link and you can come on live. What I'd really recommend though is if you've got your LinkedIn open and you're like listening to the live stream as we're here, please mute that screen or close that prior screen, because it will be creating issues in terms of echo. And as good as this system is, it doesn't cancel echo very well. So let's see what Teresa has on her mind. Teresa, it looks like you might also have poor internet connection. So we might have to see how this works out here when we come together. So, okay. How come I don't think your connection is strong enough. There is a problem here. And it's not coming on. Let's see if this works. There we go. Hey,
Hi.
Teresa. Hi. Good to see you. It looks like your connection is a little sketchy at best.
Okay.
So just know that we might have some buffering here, people. But what's on your mind? What question do you have?
I'm looking to transition into something else entirely different, and I know I'd probably have to start again. And I have a master's degree, and I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to present my resume without, people going, "Oh, she has a master's." I don't, I don't figure out how the best way to do that.
Sure. Well, intuitively, you probably know the best way to find opportunities, to find work.
Right.
Do you know what that is?
No.
It's networking.
Okay.
It's through relationships of trust.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't have to be total trust, but there has to be a shred of trust there that somebody trusts you can do the job, whether that's what you've done or what you want to do next, which is different than what you've done. Is people have to trust you to do it. And especially for someone changing careers, that's a big deal. On paper, you're not going to be qualified. And so you're going to make an assumption on paper that your lack of qualifications is going to be making a difficult future for you, right?
Right.
So the resume is a good tool for linear job seekers, meaning you're going from A to B, it's the same thing, right?
Okay.
If you're going in a different direction entirely, it's not a very effective tool.
Okay.
It's a necessary evil. So let me ask you this. Who are the people you know that are doing the thing that you'd love to do?
No one really.
Okay. What is the thing you would love to do?
I'm looking into getting into operations or some kind of like office management. Most everybody that I know of is more like in the entertainment industry, but the entertainment industry is shut down right now. And, I have a lot of different friends and different kind of things, but I want to go into operations side of things.
Teresa, how many people do you know?
Quite a bit.
Okay, if you put a number on it, rough guess.
About 50.
50. Okay, let's assume that each of your 50 know 50 other people.
Okay.
How many people is that?
100.
No, 50 times 50.
50. That's
2,500 people.
Right.
Okay. Do you think one of those people out of the 2,500 knows somebody or something about operations?
Yes.
Okay. That's the objective. Talk first to the people you know. Tell them about your passion, interest, love for what? Operations, and why you're excited about it and what that domain means to you.
It would be putting, my master's degree to work because it was in management, but I don't feel like I used enough of my degree for the previous job that I had. So now I want to, use it more.
Right. So you have to say why, though. Why do you want to use it more? Why do you like operations? I know plenty of people who went and got a degree in something and they never used it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because they realized that that's something they didn't want, or they went and got a degree and they'd love to do that thing, but the degree is not the reason why. Does that make sense? There has to be a reason why you love that kind of thing, or you're interested in that, a difference you want to make, something that comes from heart-centered desire, not head-centered. Oh, I should be using my MBA for this.
Okay.
Because people told me I should do that. Right? You know what I mean? I've had that too. I'm not immune, right? It's the idea that you have skill, ability that people need, and it's you believing there is space for you on the board, if you know what I mean.
Right.
There's space for you somewhere. You're a puzzle piece. It fits into some puzzle somewhere. You might have to bring it around to a bunch of different puzzles before you see where you fit in.
I think that's probably what it is. I've applied to different places, but I haven't gotten anything. So it's kind of making me a little worried that, it's like, ugh. So
well, that says more about the process and your fit on paper.
okay.
That doesn't say anything about you as a person or a asset or a value that might be potentially good for a company.
Okay.
They're judging you based on your paper.
Okay.
Which isn't bad. It's just not good for getting feedback or having dialogue or understanding where you fit in that marketplace, because it may be unclear to you right now.
Right.
How you fit. So go in and have a conversation instead. Can you do that?
I will try better to do so.
Well, there's plenty of people here. In fact, hop into the chat, Teresa. I'm sure there's people here that would be willing to help you. Did you put your link, your link to your profile in the chat?
No, I hadn't done that yet.
Okay, so when you get back to LinkedIn,
okay,
don't do it now, because we might get an echo. When you get back to LinkedIn, you put your link in the chat, and I guarantee you, there's people on this stream right now, that have operations experience that can help you extrapolate your expertise from wherever you were to where you want to go. Okay. And I would appreciate you doing the same, right? Yep. Looking at other people in the chat and saying, you know what, I think I can help you, so that we have mutual exchange. Can you do that for me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Probably.
Thank you for being brave to come on here. Did you get what you needed? You have any other questions?
No, I'm good. I just got to figure out how to get to the new horizon, as I like to call it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, build a brand. I mean, how did you hear about us?
I got laid off last year, and Lee Heck Harrison was the organization that I was referred to. Mm-hmm. And I came to your, they had things like this, and I came to a few of them, and you were on a couple, and I just friended you on LinkedIn. So.
Oh. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So there's lots of resources available to you through LHH that you should leverage. Even if you're not attached to that anymore, you can still access a lot of that content. Okay. Okay.
And the other thing is, I've tried going to what do you want to call it? Not like an agency and things like that, and I haven't gotten anything back from them. So I'm kind of figuring out what do I need to do to make them say, okay, we have something for you.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing I have to figure out.
Okay. Well,
work
on it, work towards something, and make a positive impact in somebody else's life, and you'll find that you'll receive some benefit as well.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Reach out to people in the chat.
Okay.
Thanks. Appreciate you. Teresa, everybody. Thank you. Looks like Kevin's here, but he doesn't have his camera on, so I don't know if he's in here on purpose or accident. So, yeah. So, Bill, already. Teresa, Bill in the chat is saying, I may be able to help you. Okay. So we're here as a team to help each other. So I appreciate if you guys connect here in the chat and schedule time outside of this Friday to have a conversation. Okay. Good. Looks like Doug has an observation, or the ATS is judging the resume. I'm not sure if anybody's judging anything. I believe it to be how should I say this? An algorithm. And an algorithm isn't working to your favor all the time. And it's a challenge. It's just an algorithm. What can I say? It's looking for certain things, and it's not perfect, and it scores everybody, and it's not human. Okay. Ted also here. Teresa, do you see Ted in the chat? You can hit him up and have a conversation with Ted. That's two people that I'm expecting to hear back from, that you had conversations with them. Okay. The first being Bill. Okay. And the second being Ted. Both saying open hands. We're here to help you. Okay. That's what this community is about. It's about helping each other. And if you're sitting back, crossing your, have your hands folded, just watching the content, I don't know. This may not be the community for you. This is a community where people help each other. Okay. That's the kind of community I want to be a part of. And I'm sure that's why people are here, because we help each other. Okay. Good. Let's see if Kevin's here, but I don't see his video. Let's see what happens when I bring him on. Kevin, are you there? Kevin's not there.
I am here. I connected originally with the Realstream and then got onto LinkedIn and then got kicked off of LinkedIn. And Weird. So I'm just joining you from Realstream right now at Restream.
Gotcha.
Listening, but it shows that I'm on air, or at least on the camera.
Oh, so. Kevin, did you have a question?
No. That was my question was going to be as far as how do you stay motivated during this time, and you answered that. So
good.
That was on LinkedIn.
Awesome. All right, good. So it sounds like we're good on that side. Excellent. Well, thanks for coming. I appreciate that. Any other questions? If you guys can, share this out to your networks. We're just here to provide you support, positive support. Every Friday, 3:00 Pacific time, we'll be here. Okay? Whatever it takes. Some days will be better than others. Some will have more content than others. Some will have more people brave enough to come on and get support that way. It looked like Terry was here, I think, earlier. So I don't know. Terry's still here, hopefully. Good. Terry, always willing to help other folks. Here's the thing. Terry has been networking like a madman. I'm really impressed at his sustaining effort in meeting people. And I think he's gotten into a groove and he's hitting marks, and it won't be long before he's back to work somewhere. So if you want to connect with Terry, I believe he's in the chat as well. So let me know in the chat if there's any other questions that you might have. Yes, thank you, Terry. Terry, still here. Excellent. Excellent. Good. So what questions are there out there? The other one I had was, I don't know if people really understand the different types of recruitment firms that are out there. There's been a lot of confusion around this. And I want to put a link in the chat to an article that I wrote way back when. Well, not way back when. When was it? Actually, April of this year. I just did kind of a high level review on what these different search firms are and how they work and so forth. So I will put that in the chat if you guys want to read that. Good. Added 40 connections in 2 weeks. Wow. Way to go, Terry. Oh, my word. So in the chat should be an article about, well, people used to call them headhunters. And I don't know if that's an appropriate or even an accurate term, but I think it's important to understand that these organizations, these search firms, operate a little differently than internal recruitment. So that it's important to understand how each one of those work and how they're motivated. So good, Terry, 40 connects in the last 2 weeks. That's incredible, man. Good job. Keep up the great work. Any other questions out there? I'm about ready to call it a day because I'm a little tired today. Not getting a lot of sleep this week. Nothing, not a big deal. Just had some things around the house that created a sleep-deprived situation. That's all. Good. Any other questions out there before I go? You're welcome to stay in the chat and have conversations. It's an archaic term. Yeah, it is. Headhunter. I mean, come on. I think people still kind of use that. Now people call headhunters recruiters. And so I think I think the challenge that the staffing industry in general, the talent acquisition industry in general, has to fight, much like the real estate industry, the bias on the marketplace. That there's always the top 1% in any profession, but it seems like there's a very large bottom 1% in that particular industry, and it's unfortunate that some companies, neglect to invest energy, resources, and talent in the talent acquisition function, that they report that up through finance or CFO, and it's considered an expense. I think that's a tragedy. In the companies that have it figured out, CHRO is sitting at the C-suite table, and talent acquisition is a strategic function of the company to develop, hire, and retain quality people. That ought to be any organization's objective, for sure. Hopefully Terry agrees with me on that one. I'm sure that he does. So if there's no other questions, I'm happy to hang here and answer your questions, but I don't see any. So I might just sign off and call it a weekend. And I hope you all have a nice cold beverage waiting for you, whatever that looks like. Some might want a hot beverage. It's going to be raining here this weekend. So thank you, Teresa, for sharing that. So everybody connect with each other. So the next steps for everybody is use the framework I talked about today, where you reach out to somebody, tell them something you appreciate about them. Let them know that there's a skill or a strength that you used in their presence that you want to use again, and see where that conversation goes. That you're looking for opportunities in that space. You're not looking for a job. You're looking for people, contacts, information, advice on that space. So, yeah, I mean, Terry, we could do a whole half-day symposium on talent acquisition and best practice there, for sure. On both sides of the equation, right? So now that you've seen it a couple of times from the candidate perspective, I think it gives you a lot of appreciation for what a lot of people are having to go through. So, and I think you probably already knew that, but because you're one of the 1%. All right, folks, have a good weekend. I wish you all the best. We'll see you next Career Happy Hour. Be well, take care, and we'll see you on the other side.